What's up, everybody? How's all y'all doing? Hope everybody is having a good weekend so far, and hope it continues to be the rest of a good weekend, what's left of it. Today I am here at my job, so I can use the lift to do some work on the Jeep. So today is going to be a bit of an exhaust video, or I'm going to replace the muffler back, I should say. Muffler back exhaust on my Jeep, because the original one that's on there now, the factory one, it has rot holes in it, it has leaks, and it's stock, and it's falling apart. There is, however, also as you probably hear, a leak in the video, because I'm going to do a quick little startup video and show you guys underneath the stock exhaust. But there's also a leak at the somewhere around the manifold on the engine, either where the collector is, where the exhaust manifold meets the downpipe, or maybe the exhaust manifold itself is cracked, because I know for a fact those 4 liters are known for the exhaust manifolds cracking, which is usually why people either replace them stainless headers, whichever the case. No worries. But for now, I'm not gonna worry about fixing that right now, because I gotta find it first so I could pinpoint the exact location. But for now, the more important part is the back half of the exhaust, where it all leaks into the cabin, because there's holes everywhere, and it's just ugh. So turning you around here, this is what we got. And there's also another project which I'll show you I'll show you now, why not. This is another project I'm going to be working on today. As you can see, right down there, that red tab, there's supposed to be a rod that comes through the tire and has this here. This rod sticks through the tire, then this donut slides onto it, and you tighten this on the rod to hold the spare tire tight up against the quarter. But this is not long enough now, so I'm going to be doing some clever crap where I find a bolt that fits this threads onto, and that slides over in this here collection of wonderful bolts, and then I will weld that end of the bolt. For example, let's just say this bolt, I will weld one end of the bolt to the other end. That way I could slide this on to the new bolt and thread this on, and it'll be long enough to stick out through the other end of my wheel. So I could put this on, thread that on, and it'll hold the tire tight to the quarter panel. That's one project. But this here is the main project. I got a brand new factory OEM 2 1/4 tailpipe. And to replace the muffler that's on there, I'm going with this one chamber muffler, which is a knockoff version of the Cherry Bomb Extreme muffler. The Cherry Bomb Extreme is a competitor muffler to the Flowmaster 1 chamber. Now, I was originally looking at the Cherry Bomb Extremes and the Flowmaster 1 chambers, but the Flowmaster 1 chambers are ridiculously expensive. And anybody who's got one of those mufflers used wants entirely too much money for a used one when you can buy a new one for the same price. So I looked up on Amazon, looked up at Summit Racing app. I went and even went to Google, punched in Cherry Bomb Extreme muffler, with the specs and to the inlet and outlet settings that I wanted, and the diameter as well, which is 2 1/4, because the Jeep has factory 2 1/4 tailpipes, and where the tailpipes go into the muffler, but where the muffler connects to the cat is 2 1/2. But I have an adapter for that. As you can see here, I got 2 different ones, so just in case I have this section here for 2 1/4 to extend the length if I need to, and that's the adapter. Now, yes, I could have ultimately, since it's 2 1/4 from the cat to the muffler, I mean 2.5 from the back of the cat to the muffler where it starts. I could have just went full 2.5, but that's more money because it's bigger diameter piping, and I didn't want to spend all the extra money. I wanted to keep it relatively a budget-friendly project. It is only a daily driver, so the Jeep doesn't need to be an expensive modified rig. It's not something that's going to be seeing off-road. It's not going to be something that's going to be, or any serious off-road, I should say, because I can't really say it's not going to see off-road, because some of the trails that I go to when I RC play with my RC crawlers are in the woods, and there are uneven surface dirt roads that lead to those trails. So technically they're not on the road anymore. The asphalt or concrete road ends, and then the dirt off-road starts to get to where the trails are. So I do see, I'd be lying if I said it didn't see it, but it's not going to be, it's not, I'm not, my goal, my thing is it's a daily driver, and I don't want to keep fixing it every time I break it off road, so I want to keep it a daily driver. Therefore, it really only sees asphalt daily driver use. It's a workhorse. It's not an off-roader, but it doesn't mean it can't look cool. You know, when you have a vehicle, you want to personalize it. You want to make it your own, which is where looks and sound comes into play. But anyway, and I didn't want this too loud, being that I live in a mobile home estate. I didn't want my neighbors hating me. So I went with a smaller 2.25 diameter piping instead of the bigger 2.5. Even though I have the louder of a muffler than the factory muffler, I could have staying with the stock quiet muffler and put the quiet tailpipe on, yes. But at the end of the day, I like hot rods, muscle cars, and modifying things. I like things to be personalized and make it my own. So of course, I'm not going to use a stock muffler. But that should help with some better flow for the exhaust, ultimately making the engine run more efficiently and maybe slightly a little more fuel economy. Not that I'm worried about that, because at the end of the day, it's a Jeep. They're not the most fuel efficient vehicles out there. It's not a hybrid. It's not a 4-banger Honda or something. But it's a perfect, practical utility vehicle for someone who wants that and needs that and is looking for that in a vehicle. And granted, yes, they did make these with the V8. Those are going to be obviously worse on gas than these, but these aren't too bad. And if you do a decent amount of certain small, simple, but good modifications that are going to benefit you, you're going to get benefit from them getting a little better fuel economy. And not that it's a race car performance vehicle, but you'll get better performance, which in return is going to make your vehicle run better and run more efficiently. Which, who doesn't want a vehicle that's going to work more efficiently and give you better fuel economy or smoother daily driver performance? But anyway, getting back to this, like I said, it's a 2.25 tailpipe, 2.25 inlet and outlet on the muffler. It's a center inlet, center outlet, which I had to go with, which you see what's on the underneath of the Jeep, which I'll show you in a second. That factory muffler is a center inlet but offset outlet, which that's not that big of a deal. It shouldn't be throw that tailpipe air that much off, and it ain't gonna worry about it. And I do plan on reusing this 3.5-inch tip, but without further waiting and me dragging things on, sorry, we'll lift this thing up, we'll start it up, and I'll show you all this holes and stuff. Hopefully you'll be able to hear me over the exhaust. That's quick little rev stock, what it sounds like. Lift the lift on up and we'll show you guys underneath. Alright. Now, as you can see probably here, there is a hole right here, and it's rusty and crusty. It looks like shit. There's another hole right there and there. And the rest of this is all kind of been boogered from the muffler's not bad shape. It was new for a while, but it's, you can see it's kind of rusty and crusty there. There's exhaust leaks up here. I technically am going down the road going to end up cutting this cat off and replacing it with a new cat. Getting the front section done, but for now I want to start with just this section here. And as you can see, it's a center inlet, offset outlet, but tilting it off to the little this way, the pipe isn't going to be much of a problem. But we'll get to that point when we get down that road. But yep, this is my project for today. But you can see my new control arm I put in the other day. But yeah, so I'm gonna shut this off and get this all cut off, and we'll catch up with you on the next video for part 2, when we're getting ready to install all the new stuff. And then we'll do a part 3, which will be the sound clip of the new exhaust setup. Yeah, pretty crusty, ugly exhaust. So that'll be nice. And I'm curious as to how it's gonna sound. So I'm sure it's gonna be a lot louder, that tiny little one-chamber muffler, versus a factory muffler, which is a lot bigger and different design internally. It's definitely gonna be louder. I'm hoping it's not gonna be too loud, being that it's a one-chamber. But that's also why I went with a 2 1/4 instead of, the 2 1/4 tailpipe instead of 2.5 inch stuff, which would make it even crazier louder. But, well, not crazier, it'll make it even louder than it is, but we'll see.